climbing out of a reflecting pool in the back. So without further ado, I want to thank David Icke for being such a big part of this. He can bring out 6,000 to 7,000 people easily. And so if that many show up, they're going to make it hard, folks, but you've got to do it. This could bring down Bilderberg politically by forcing it out into the media. If they miscalculate, if the police abuse anybody, or if the security people do, that will backfire. I believe we have these guys by the short hairs. David Icke, again, former head of the Green Party, champion goalie, BBC sports reporter, and, of course, best-selling author. And say what you want about David Icke. He gets people thinking. David Icke, what do you make of how historic this year is? And do you disagree with me that this is a key time and a key opportunity here outside of London?
Well, I think it is. I think we are looking at an historic moment in terms of the history of exposure. And, you know, what I wonder, Alex, coming from England and knowing the geography and the location and all that stuff, is what on earth are they doing meeting in that hotel in Watford? I mean, they must have a very good reason for it, because from a protest point of view, they're 30 minutes by a train from central London. They're a short journey in a car, really, from the second biggest city in England, Birmingham, the East Midlands cities, which are just up the motorway. They're actually at a place where so many people, they're in the middle of a vast population area. And so either they miscalculated, or they hope they'll cause trouble and do a problem reaction solution, or there's another reason why it has to be that hotel, because what they've done is create a situation in which the people, instead of having to go to them, they've almost come to us. You know, in 1995, Alex, the great Jim Tucker did a round-robin email saying that the Bilderberg meeting was a place called Bergenstock in Switzerland. And as coincidence would have it, I was staying with some friends about 2 hours away at the same time, though I didn't know that when I agreed to go. So on the day before, I went across there, down the 2 hours, down the motorway, freeway, and I went up to three enormously flash hotels, the Park, the Palace, and the Grand, at the top of this mountain. It was basically in the middle of nowhere, and there was just like not much more than a village down the bottom of the mountain. And I saw them putting up the temporary fences. I saw the people walking around with their name tags on, and there was no one around protesting. I mean, Jim was there somewhere, but I didn't meet him. And then I went back on the last day of the Bilderberg meeting that year, 1995, and I wanted to see if I could get closer when it was going on. I couldn't even get on the mountain. Right down in the entrance onto the mountain road from the village, there was the Swiss police. The guys had, I remember them, big orange luminous jackets on. And I said to them, I just want to go up to the hotel. They said, oh, no, you can't. There's something going on. And I asked the guy, so what is it, mate, playing the idiot? Why can't I go on? What's going on? And he just said to me, I don't know, but it's top secret, he said. And I sat there and I thought, that's compartmentalization for you. You, a guy that the people at the top of that mountain are conspiring to manipulate your life, your children's life, your grandchildren's life, and you are protecting them when you don't even know they're there and the agenda that's happening.
By the way, David, we're going to skip this. We're going to skip this network break because I got to you a little bit late. We're going to skip this break. This is the perfect example of everything you're talking about. Please continue.
And so it's going to be quite emotional, I think, very likely, when I come up there, because having stood at the bottom of that mountain and saw just nothing in front of me, and I couldn't even see the hotels are so far away. Here we are now, looking in their face, and I do urge as many people as possible to come along in total peace, and I'm sure that's what the vast majority's intent event will be. But let's make a massive statement by numbers that we are not having this anymore, and that we are starting to figure out what's going on. And, this is such a wonderful opportunity for massive exposure. You've got the media now. I do have to laugh. You've got the mainstream media who are now covering it and often making fun of the alternative media. The media, overwhelmingly, well, in fact, if you go back to 1995 and when Jim Tucker was the trailblazer, the media entirely that will be there covering this event would not be there this weekend if it wasn't for the alternative media, if it wasn't for the Jim Tuckers. Who trailblazed this when no one else wanted to know, and the media were just laughing and ignoring it.
And David, isn't this...
Jim trailblazed it, and the mainstream media have had to follow us, and they better get used to it because it's only just started.
No, I totally agree, and that's where I was going. In my gut, in my intellect, in my spirit, at every level, this is a microcosm of the entire world, the entire universe of what's happening. And I want you to elaborate on that, and Mike Adams, who's riding shotgun, to pop in with any of his views on this, because here is Westbrook Pegler covering this 60 years ago, not even knowing its name. Tucker picks it up 36 years ago, and it wasn't until a decade ago that really even foreign press would cover it. And now I talk to people on the airplane, they know what it is, even if they don't know who David Icke is or Alex Jones. So again, this shows our power, the people's power, that they've gone from a stone wall, doesn't exist. There aren't 2 billion bullets. There aren't armored vehicles. There aren't NSA spying on you. There isn't a new world order. We're not putting cancer viruses in the vaccines. We're not giving you GMO to kill you, to where we were all on the airplane flying here last night. And I was talking to people, and they're going, Henry Kissinger wants a new world order, and he's scum, and GMO's designed to sterilize us with chemicals in it. And I'm going, do you know who I am? No, who are you? And it was, I'm telling you, David, people are either getting more zombie or they're getting more awake, and I think it's coming to a crescendo. And as you just said, their arrogance, by the way, I read this 2 weeks ago, and then looked it up, and it's true. This is on some weird ritual site that had a stone circle at it before they built this palace that royalty would have parties at, and then they brag on the side of the thing that people have been coming here to party and mate for 6,000 years. So it is some type of weird power site for them. But just interjecting, I totally agree. This is historical. This is the Bilderberg meeting to be to, folks. This is it. This is where we force the global shadow government out in the open. David Icke.
Well, what I was saying earlier, Alex, about, why have they held it here in that great, population area, and I kept saying, some other reason. Well, that's what I was talking about when I said that. The Bilderberg group is very, very significant, but it is a strand in a gigantic web, and you go much deeper in the rabbit hole than the Bilderberg group to find the source. And from that comes a deep knowledge of the nature of reality, the nature of the Earth's energy field, the fact that everything is conscious, and if you can do things to the Earth energy field, you can affect the collective consciousness of everyone, because at the energetic electromagnetic level, we are interacting with the planet, we're interacting with all energetic fields, and this is why they're constantly doing their rituals, and they do select Bilderberg meetings based on this, and this is a classic example. So in many ways, when you look at it from that point of view, there was only one place they were going to come, which is there for energetic reasons. This is what you find and understand when you go deeper in the rabbit hole. And when you get down there, you also realize that there is a reason or an explanation for the apparent blatant contradiction between a network of families and secret societies who are systematically dismantling the planet and the fact that they have to live here. I mean, this is not the time to go into it, but they want to change the planet into a different state that suits something
And that's what's so crazy is that they tell us all day we want to kill the earth, and then they say they're the saviors, while they're the ones on every front, GMO, chemicals, you name it, actively trying to not even play a good God, but to play a destructive, ugly God. And David, expanding on that, even if other people don't believe in the occult and things, I snuck into Bohemian Grove. I have, covered Skull and Bones. You said that Savelle was, running kids for the royal family 15 years ago. Now it's come out the guy was, this total Satanist. And for those of us that aren't like these people, we're blind to it because we can't see into that dark spectrum that they inhabit, that they operate in. And expanding on that, that's why they've been so scared of exposure, because as you said, Bilderberg was just one uncovered part of, say, a temple out in the Sahara Desert, one little piece sticking up. And they said, oh, that's not part of a temple. Don't go dig over there. And we started digging like archaeologists and are now digging and finding this giant submerged structure. Is that a good analogy?
Well, we can bring a few things together here. First of all, understanding that these people at the Bilderberg group, I'm looking through the list in front of me that is said to be coming this year, they look rich and powerful people, and on one level they're rich and powerful people, but in the greater scheme of the global network, they are gophers, and they are terrified on one side of those much deeper in the rabbit hole, because this is a whole edifice of fear that they're caught in. And on the other side, there's still massive compartmentalization, and a lot of the people there will know some of the picture, but they won't know all of it. And these people who are really in the know, they worship these gods. They've been talked about in every culture for eons under different names, and they interact with these gods. And what I'm talking about gods, I'm talking about non-human entities, and they are seeking to change the planet to suit them. This is why they are using GMO and goodness knows how many other methods to change human DNA, which is why they're doing the genetic modification of animals, of plants, and all the rest of it. They are seeking to turn this planet into something that is right for them. And this has been an ongoing thing for centuries.
Well, let me say this. I mean, they are publicly, as you know, in all their publications saying they're a different species than us. We're animals, they're God, and that they're going to transcend and merge with machines. And so, again, just from a news perspective, whether it's true or not, when I was at Bohemian Grove, they were worshiping. They are occultists. They believe this is real. And I want you to come back and get into whatever you want with Mike Adams, because I'm going to leave you, David, so that you can have some time here. You're going to be in studio with us sometime on Friday during the show, Friday evening, British time. I think we were talking during the break. You're good for that, correct?
Yeah, I'll see you Friday.
All right, fantastic. But let me ask you this question as we get ready to go to break. You've got a few minutes here. Specifically, though, calling out the troops, because you're huge all over the world. I have a big audience here in the UK as well, but you're really probably biggest here in the UK. Where you can get 7,000-8,000 people out at an event. What do you think people should do? What are points you think that they should be making? I mean, we don't really talk about talking points, but what do you think the most important message is to get out here?
Well, I think the biggest message is numbers. If we get a very large number of people turning up at this event, I mean, what we've just discussed, Alex, what we're looking at here is absolutely unprecedented. The way that it's set up, and that we can actually get in to the grounds and stuff like that. Yes, the security will be ludicrous, and just so over the top. But I mean, the people that run the world are insane. I mean, that's the penny that needs to drop before you start understanding the world we live in. They're mad. But if we calmly and peacefully assemble in large numbers, I mean, even focus it on the Saturday when people are not working, and let's make a statement in numbers that people, including the mainstream media,
just numbers,
cannot ignore. You see, this is the thing. You see, what you're talking about on the train, the people, vast numbers of people now, are far more aware of the world they live in than the journalists who are reporting the world. Let's come back.
Let's come back and talk about that with David Icke of DavidIcke.com, riding shotgun.